What's going on? What's going on? This is David, your host with the most. Right on, right on, right on. Have a great day. Be blessed if you don't stay with us. But keep on rolling because today we got a special one for you. Special one. This is a Peace to Go to your home life. Having peace at home is what we're going to talk about. So, right on, right on, right on. And welcome in and welcome to everyone. Hello. Hello, okay. There you go. So anyway, we're going to start this right off, right from the start, and we're a little bit early today. So we are supposed to start at 2:30 Central Standard Time, but we're starting at 2:27 because we wanted to make sure that we were rolling right and correctly. So a lot of times we have been having stuff that just wasn't, our tech was just having a problem all the time. So we just said, let's start early so we could get it in time so we could be on time. I pride myself on being on time for everything I do. It's not always possible sometimes, but we find solutions so that the next time around we become better. And so we want to tell you happy holidays to all of you, whether you had a great Thanksgiving and if you had a okay or not so conducive Thanksgiving, turn it around for Christmas or turn it around for the next holiday, whatever that may be. It could be Christmas, it could be maybe you call it just Happy Being Thankful Day, whatever. Just turn it around, turn it around, turn it around. So this is Terrific Tuesday, Peace to Go to in your home life. And we have Peace to Go one last week, last Wednesday. And as you can see, here we go. Here we go. Let's get it on. All right. So oh, there's Total underscore Elegance One says, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Keep being unapologetically you. Right on, right on, right on. All right, here we go. Here we go. For peace to go to home life. All right, so enough said, enough ready to go. Let's do it. All right, we're going to fix this picture. So I'm going to fade to blue or black, whatever you prefer. Leave it at that. So, anyway, here we go. Here's our robot sitting. Last time we had him sitting in a closet. This time we just got him sitting. And you notice he doesn't have in the previous picture on our previous podcast or Twitch stream, whatever you want to call it. He had he had a bunch of doves around him, and those doves they were birds and they had weights. And now you don't see the weights, you just see the question marks because he's got peace. And so we're talking about home life and having peace today. So right now, a lot of you have relatives coming in, or they're there. Some people are staying for a full month. Some people are just coming in for a day or two, depending on traffic and travel. And so we wish them the best. So your home life has to run the same no matter who's in your house. Just because somebody comes in, they might be older, they might be younger, or they might have rules that they have. That's your house, or that's your abode, whether it's an apartment, a shack, a cardboard box, homeless shelter, home, mansion, Mac mansion, whatever. Okay, that's your place, and it has to stay the same. The rules have to stay the same, regardless of who's there. So if there's certain things that you don't need to have, and you let everybody know, then that's the way it's got to be. And so how you deal with that is that's the expectation. And if they're coming to your home all the time for all the holidays, then that's the way it's just got to be, and that's understood. And everybody has understood, no matter from age 1, 6 months, to whatever, to 120. That's the way it is. So anyway, let's move on to the next situation. So as your home develops, and as you develop the cadence for your home operates on a formula. Things break down on the formula. People break down on the formula. So if you know you've got somebody out there that likes to argue about everything, but they take it to the extreme level. They take it out of a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super extreme, trying to climb Mount Everest in the snow time. Then you got to do something with that person. You got to get them somewhere with where other people can calm them down. So you can get a healthy balance, and then you got to limit the conversations to what needs to be. The second part of this is your home life is when you've got peace to go in your home is yeah, you're going to have noises, you're going to have things, but no screaming, yelling, none of that. Case, there's an emergency, of course, or something happens that's detrimental. But other than that, your base got to be peaceful. You have to have a peaceful way to be. And the reason why is because you're there to celebrate the year or to celebrate the holiday or to celebrate things that happened that were positive for your family. And of course, you're going to have people that are going to show up with negativity. So you just put them in another room and let whoever the family guru is, let them talk to them. You know what I mean? And then make sure there's a time limit so that they don't take all that person's time and make that person pick up their issues. So you got to have a protocol for this situation. Yeah, having family is always tough because you got family rivalries. You have family situations that probably aren't conducive. Maybe you got some people using some substances. Maybe you got some people that want to come to use some substances. Maybe you got people that want to be there and they just want to cause problems because they're mad because they're not happy. So you got to make sure you address all that. Everybody needs to know what the protocol is. We're not having that. So it's important that you do that so that your holidays go off on a good time. And so what we like to say is do the best that you can do accordingly. And if you do the best that you can do accordingly, then everything is great. You're going to have rivalry. Sometimes there's rivalry over who cooks the best dish or who cooks the best meat or who makes the best drinks or who. Then you got to establish what that is and who that is and why that is. And everybody has to be in agreement. So normally with families after a few years, it's usually a set situation. Then you got to have an alternate that's ready to step up. So depending on if they're bringing food or they're making food in your kitchen, if you have a kitchen that's big enough, then that's how that goes. And so it keeps everything running straight. If you got youngsters that don't know how to cook, whether they be one gender or another gender, then you need to make sure that they start learning the family recipes. And they start, even if they don't want to. And the reason why you don't have to force it down their throat, they want to eat, then they got to work to eat. They got to learn to eat in that part so they can learn the recipe. So your recipes are passed down through generations. Sometimes it's written down, sometimes it's on the computer, sometimes it's told verbally. And then, so you got to film it at some point so you don't lose the knowledge. And this happens in a lot of families because these things seem like they aren't important. They are important because there's whole empires, business empires that have been made from a family recipe, or they stole a recipe from another family and made an empire out of it. So it's very important that is your intellectual property, so to speak, in business speak. And so it's very important that you keep that going or you pass the knowledge down to the next generation and the next generation so that those recipes are in the family's lexicon every time you want to have something. And they can mean something. Some of them are not so good. They might not be healthy, just like what we used to eat 20, 30, 40 years ago might not be around anymore. So you have to make sure that they adjust the recipe to the new stuff that you're baking out of, new materials. So it's important. And then on top of that, you got to make sure that you keep the peace. And then if you have some people that hate each other or whatever in the family, it could be in-laws or families or sibling rivalries or a host of other things, a myriad of negativity. Then you got to make sure you can nip that in the bud as much as possible. This is very important. So it sounds like a lot, but it's really not because you want the best time when you're going to eat at the table, you're going to pray or whatever it is that you do, whatever ritual that you have, that you get that taken care of. And so this is a hard topic right now for a lot of people because a lot of people are hurting. Maybe one side of the family is hurting and the other side of the family seems to be doing well. But everybody's got to move together as one, as a family. And that's what's missing right now. We have a lot of people split up over ideologies and systems that was not designed for them or their race, religion, or culture. And they picked up some things that's not conducive. So if you need to stay in your culture, stay in your culture. If you have a fusion of cultures, then fuse the cultures. But make sure that everybody's taken care of while they're there. And so you can have a better team. So and don't put that all on one person. There's always one person that is the engine or wants to be the engine. But if you know that that's not fair. You need to make sure that everybody can help. They need to help out and not just show up to eat and enjoy the merry times. And that's what we got. We have functional illiterates walking around that when there's time to do something, they don't want to pay. They don't want to cook. They don't want to do anything. They just want to eat and then they want to talk about the food. They want to talk about everything. That's not fair to the people that are cooking and putting their heart and soul into the food. Now, if you know you can't cook, that's another situation. They talk to somebody who can or go to a cooking class or whatever it is you need to do to make yourself a better chef. Because you want to have chef status food, restaurant quality food as much as you can if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, then you got to make sure you got them seasonings on deck and you got the products on deck, the materials on deck, so that it can taste like they're at a restaurant. And that's what brings people back is the food produces the love, which produces the good times for the family. And that's a whole important situation right there. Let me reiterate that as if you needed to hear it again, huh? But the food is made from love, which drives the family. That's what happens. When it's good food, then there's food, folks, and fun. That was an old adage from an old fast food place, but it really is true. It really is true because if you got good food or great food, you got great fun. And if you got great fun, it's a positive time for everybody. So even though somebody may not be doing well or that side of the family may, be having some issues or whatever the case may be, then when you have those mixtures, when you got the food, folks, and fun, when you have that, then you got the makings of a great, great, great time for all involved. You can't please everybody. You don't need to, but you need to be able to please at least 90 to 98% of the people. Somebody's always going to not like something because that's just the way they are. But they don't have a say so if they didn't cook or contribute, monetary or helped, or whatever it was that you needed them to do. They don't have a say so. So this is, so get that understood. Let them talk amongst themselves and not to the general family about everything that was and wasn't. And this causes a lot of consternation. And this is what these types of low vibrational beings are causing things in families. And that's what it is. It's somebody does something for everybody and then they're not satisfied, but they didn't help, they didn't spend any money, they had no they had nothing that they contributed but their mouth and their stomach. And they half-ass didn't contribute that. So that's what we're having. So that causes problems for years, and those become deep-seated situations because you might have families getting together, whether it be family reunion, holidays, whatever, anything where a family gets together. And then you got all these deep seated, ignorant issues over stuff that doesn't exist. Sometimes it's over people that have died and passed on, and they're holding that up. And then sometimes it's just because they got a personality clash. And then sometimes it's because they are competing on who's got the best potato salad or who's got the best ribs. Whatever it is. Okay, we're just using those as examples. That's what's on my mind today. So give me a prepaid pass. All right. So, anyways, but that's what we have to do. We have to keep moving forward within our families, and that's important. And right now, the way the economy is, families have to pitch in and help together. Now, I've talked to people today, and they were telling me about how certain cultures don't stick together. In America, every culture has stuck together one way or another at some point or another, or they would not be able to live in America. We're just going to talk about the states, okay? United States of America. So that's a misnomer, and it's not true because people are still having extended families, and that might be their actual family that they have now. Maybe they outgrew, or maybe something happened and they had to move forward, or maybe they moved across the country, or maybe they moved down the street. Whatever the case may be, they're still having get togethers and things for these holidays. And so that's your family. So you got to figure out what works for that particular side of the family. And that's the whole point. We got to think, there's people with grandiose ideas, champagne budgets, and there's others with simple ideas and mega dollar budgets. So those two things gotta come together. They gotta collide first to talk it out. Then they gotta come together. And we're not talking about toleration. We're talking about cooperation, so that you can co-op. Cooperation can be great, so that everybody can have a good time. And that's what we have to get away from this other stuff because our families, it's too much out here. It's too much. It's too much. It costs. Food has risen, gas has risen, rents and mortgages have risen, insurance has risen. I mean, it's just a number of things that have risen. So now the one family that might do it, they might need a little help. Or the one family that does it all the time might be to take on all the burden. But make sure that you contribute something. It might be to wash the dishes, might be to clean up something, vacuum, whatever, whatever that case may be. All right, but it's important that everybody contributes in our families now. There ain't no second team, ain't no third team. It's one team, one voice, one team. And that's the way it is. And Total underscore Elegance One says, family is not always blood, it is also those that love you unconditionally. That's right. That is a very excellent statement. Says that those that love you, family is those that love you unconditionally. They might necessarily be blood. There's a lot of that to go around. And so that's a good topic because that's what we're talking about. And it says total underscore elegance one says yes, all contributions matter. That is right. That's right, and that's so right because everybody has to count for something right now. That's why a lot of people are feeling it because it's no longer can people just stand on the side. It's no longer people can stand on the sideline anymore. Everybody has to contribute. And there's some people that's been so spoiled, that's what they're going to do, but they got to contribute. I don't care if you got to bring a can of green beans, that's all you can get. Try to get two or three of them or four or five of them. It might be $10 or more. I don't know. But I'm just saying, wherever you at, try to bring something. This is all I can bring. People are going to appreciate that. Okay. I don't care if you got to bring some sausages. You can see where I'm going. All right. Some sausages. Okay. So you go get the sausages. Maybe you go buy them in bulk at a big box retailer. Maybe you do. So, it's just different ways to take this. Maybe you got to bring bread. Then bring the bread. Do what you got to do. And so that's the point is what we're making is saying this. All contributions matter. Thanks you, Total and Squirrel against one. All of them matter right now. So if you guys got to go get together and everybody pays $20 and say you got 20 people, so you got a good amount to get some food. I mean, it may not cover everything. Maybe you got to go up to 30, but it's up to you to figure out what the menu is. If you're the leader, to figure out the menu versus what the money is, and that's your budget. So if everybody can just pay $30, let's say, if your family's hurting, that's a hard thing. $30 times 20 people. So just do the math there. I got to do it. Figure it out. But look how much you have to cover Thanksgiving or this coming up, New Year's and Christmas. So you got enough. And if you got a deep freezer or you got a freezer that you can keep it all, you can go get it and keep it all there in a cupboard or whatever else you have, pantry closet, whatever. Whatever the case may be, or you stack them up in a corner. Then look what you have. You got everything. So you can get it. Hopefully it's on sale. Hopefully, you can buy it in bulk, whatever it is you need. So that's what we're talking about. Buying things in bulk to cover. Okay, but getting all the money from all the family members, hopefully sometime around this time, so that now you got enough. Okay, we got, whatever, 50 people coming. Okay, so maybe we got enough to maybe we can get 5 turkeys, for whatever. Or we can go to whatever big box retailer has a special going on for Christmas. They had it for Thanksgiving, so call around and find out. Or if you're in some big box retailer, go out talk to the manager, ask them if they're going to have it. So you got to do your research or call in, but you might be hanging on the phone. So if you're there, you might as well go ask and talk to one of the cashiers or whoever over there that signs and makes things. They might tell you, yeah, we're going to have it be here on this day. Some stores you got to go early, and if you order it online, you probably got to order it now. So it's important that you get all this together. And the reason why we're talking about it, we're only talking about the home life and having peace in the home so that when the people come to your home and you open your home, whether it be friend or foe or frenemies or, combo thereof, or family, families. That's a new word, families. And so family that's enemies. So you heard it here first. And so you want to try to lessen the impact of the stress level. It's already stressful cooking and preparing and getting the house, where you needed to get or whatever department, whatever it is, but you make sure that you get that taken care of. And so it's important to get those recipes passed down, and then whoever can make the best this, that, and the other, they're gonna bring it, whatever. You know what I mean? But always make sure you got something in reserve that you can go ahead and whip it up real quick. So if you got a convection ovens, any of that kind of thing, where you can cook quick, whatever you got that can cook something quick, just in case you got an emergency situation. Maybe Sally couldn't make she can't make her special green bean situation, because she got sick or she hurt or she can't make it or or somebody can't go by there and pick it up. You got to be able to replace that. You know what I mean? So it ain't gonna be like Sally's, but you can get close to it. And if you know the recipe, and if Sally's hiding the recipe, that's fine. You just got to create your own recipe. Go online, look it up, do a couple test runs or whatever you need to do, and then get on with it. you know. And Total underscore Elegance One says a case of water helps also. Sometimes in families we have shortages in H2O because faucet water isn't always good anymore unless you have a filter. That's right. And make a good point about the H2O, the water. And that's a good point, and if your faucet water isn't good and you got maybe you need a filter. Normally in newer homes, they have filters on the water, but you might want to have another one where water comes out at the spigot, whatever, the faucet. You might want to get a second one so you can quadruple filter it. Okay, so that's so go look that up. We're not health people, but we're just saying these are things you can do. So go look it up on YouTube or whatever, wherever you talk to your people, go to whatever big box retailer that does that and find out, or look online and order it so you can have it. You know what I mean? So that's the part. So, and that shortage of H2O, that's a good thing. People can't always buy water. So find some people, a couple, three or four people with that, with the drinks. So you want to double and triple everything you've got so you can have enough food. And then afterwards, when you got the food giveaway, everybody walks home with an ample plate for what they need. And then total underscore elegance one says back in the day, we used to cook together with our aunties and grandmothers to learn. That's right. And in some families, we've lost that art. Some of them have passed on, or they just got tired. They just can't deal with the trash, and so they just kind of step back because they don't want to deal with it. So we got to make sure that those people are taken care of. So it's very important that when things are getting passed on, it's either filmed, written down, whatever. 'Cause a lot of people do recipes because they know from taste or they know how they've always done it. So, and it takes the person that's learning to understand, okay, I'm gonna have to do this, but I need to know what that ingredient is. So they might tell you, oh, it just needs a pinch of salt. And what they mean by a pinch of salt might not be the same thing you mean as a pinch of salt. So you got to kind of quantify it as close as you can. And then over the years and days you start making it, you'll get better and better until it starts tasting. Trust me, the family gonna tell you if it sucks or not. So this is important, and it's very important that if your family is intact with the aunties and grandmothers and all the people that cook, that you make sure that everybody's taken care of and that those people are especially taken care of. If y'all got to get somebody to rub their feet because they stood up for 8 hours cooking your grub or whatever it was, then y'all need to figure that out. You got to figure out something to take care of the people that help you. You can't bite the hand that feeds you. Everybody says they appreciate, but they treat these people like they don't exist, and they'll eat their food and then talk about them. So that's important to get that out. So what we're talking about is just positivity, and we're talking about the piece to go to for the home life. Okay, and then this home life, we can make it better. So that's what we're aiming for with our Christmas and New Year's. So that New Year's Day is important too. So a lot of times, sometimes you can carry over the leftovers from Christmas to New Year's. Just depends on where you at. Or maybe you might want to do a simpler thing on New Year's. I know we're always going to have black eyed peas. That's an old family tradition. And so we're going to do that, and then make sure we got some other things. We'll probably keep New Year's simple as easy, but we're going to make sure that everybody's getting the message. And we're not preaching to you. We're just saying these are some of the solutions that you can take and you can use. Whatever works for you, use them. Whatever doesn't work, pass it on or toss it out. But remember, only you know your family. And if there's new people or if you guys got together with somebody that's new, just discuss it a little bit. Discuss it. Some people are crazy about the holidays. Some people hate the holidays. Some people are mixed bag holidays. Sometimes you might want to find out why they're a mixed bag or why they really love it. And they'll tell you, oh, as a kid, this was the favorite time, the best time for our family. So it's keep it positive. Excuse me there. But keep it positive. As you know, we go el fresco all the time. We don't edit, we don't do nothing. I probably should, but you know what? That ain't where it's from. This is from my heart, so I want you to get it all. So that's how we keep doing this. So today, we're gonna go ahead and end it here. I've talked enough, and so you guys have great holidays. Okay, I will be posting some more, and it'll keep going, and just make everything simple and make it worth $1 million. And why we say that is because a million ain't a lot in today's economy. But if you get close to it, look what kind of presentation you have with your food. Look how much better you have a vibratory in your house of love. That's why we're saying it. Okay? It ain't the cure or be all, but we're saying it to get the vibrations up higher so that you can hopefully withstand whatever the negativity is. You start off with low vibrations in the house, you're going to end with a fight, shooting, something, because that's what be happening. So, but if you start off with high vibrations, even if it drops down, It just drops a level or two. You still don't go down to the bottom. So be you. Do you, boo. Right on, right on, right on. This your host with the most. And what I want for others, I want for myself. And what I want for myself, I want for others. We want all of you to be blessed out there. We want all of you to move forward according to what your family needs you to do and what you need to do and what you know is right for you and right for them. So listen, leave all the issues at the door. Don't have a care. Do you have a great time these holidays and be looking out for more out here? So we're real time on demand. You can call me R Todd or better known as Date App, whatever the case. Be good and do you. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.